Right now, Australia is taking in 200,000 migrants every 3 months.
Yeah, I know.
Are we not? We're 25 million. Oh, but look, I mean, what the economists could say to you, or what some economists, certainly what the Australian Treasury would say as well, you can't grow the economy unless you have a growing labour force. So, but the Australian economy, the Hungarian economy is growing. You've got companies coming here, setting up car factories, you've got battery manufacturing plant, other things moving here. But the low migration does not seem to have affected the attracting that industry.
Yeah, I think we have to keep in our mind that inviting foreign labor force is not a silver bullet which solve all problems. Not to mention the challenges it can pose. What happens if the foreign labor arrive, but it's not proper for the whole economy. So actually, currently the policy of the Hungarian government stands, I think, in 3 pillars. First is family policy. With different social benefits, the government tried to increase the fertility rate. Simply speaking, to families that have more children, more Hungarian children, which is much simple. They have achievements because the fertility rate increased from 1.2 to 1.6 in the last 10 years. So there is achievement. Of course, it's not enough because according to demographic, the 2.1 fertility rate would be necessary for the replacement. So, but there is some achievement. The second, the second one is, So the second issue is to invite people who are out of the labor market, who are not seeking jobs for years or even decades, back to the labor market. Okay, 2010 there were 2.5 million employees in this country. Now the number is 4.6 million. So more than 1 million people arrived back to the labor market. Most of them previously wasn't somehow in the social network without earning money. On welfare system, yeah, definitely. Which was one case, it was a huge burden. Other case, there was no productive activity from them. So this is the second pillar. And of course, it seems it's still not enough. So the third pillar, the inviting foreign immigration labor, but it's very important to avoid the mistake of the past of Germany or France when they invited in the 60s, 70s, temporary workers who it revealed that they stayed there permanently. So the Hungarian system is very strict. You can come currently for 2 years, only for one employee. If your term is expired, you have to go back to your country. You can apply again, but you can do that. Oh, stay here. Oh, 1 extra year, 1, 2, another extra year, 10 extra year, and it's revealed that you never go back. Okay. So and the family unification, which was also an Achillean heel for the whole system, also is very strict in Hungary. So this is how the government would like to invite labor force without to opening too widely the door. It's somehow, I think it's similar like what's going in the Gulf, in Qatar, the Emirati. It's open for foreign labor, but to get a citizenship, it's very, very strict.
So how much of this policy is explicitly driven by the aim of keeping Hungary a peaceful civil democracy, to keep people roughly aligned to the Hungarian culture and not bringing in other forms of doing things? Do people actually specifically say that, or is that just a handy-dandy thing?
Yeah. There's I can read always the foreign newspapers that Hungary is anti-immigration and xenophobic, Islamophobic country, which is, I think, definitely not true. But there is some natural resistance for any rapid changes in the structure of the society of the population. And it was very evident during the big migration crisis, at the peak of the migration crisis, 2015-16, that the Hungarian population provided support for the people who arrived, but they raised the question, why you are escaping, what's your intention, are you ready to fit to the society, the culture, and the whole legal system, which is very important. And even that case, that most of the people, of course, left and go to Germany, France, Austria, etc., who stayed, they were forced, to follow the regulation, to proper obvious answers for this question. And I think it's very important to raise this question. And it's not accidental, that there are also assumptions that actually the Hungarian government is shaping the agenda and this anti-immigration stance of the population, which I think it's not true. The immigration or the limitation of the number of immigrants in the country is an 80 it's getting 80% support from the population, independently whether they are with the government or against the government. Why, in the current EU voting, half of the population roughly supported the government. So it's an 80% topic. And actually the government realized that this is what the population wants. This is why they implemented this policy. It's very important to underline this issue.
Well, that's right. I think the great marvel of what you achieved here is how comfortable the Jewish community is here. You've got the largest synagogue in Europe here, and Jewish community seem very relaxed and at home. And I've got Jewish friends in Australia who said they visited here and feel very comfortable here. I think right now that's looking like something of an achievement, given that the rise in anti-Semitism was happening around the world.
Yeah, absolutely. It's also because of historical heritage, because during the Second World War, Hungary had a huge Jewish population and hundreds of thousands of people were massacred and killed during Holocaust. So it's a huge historical responsibility of Hungary and the Hungarian government, to provide shelter if they made terrible mistakes during the Second World War to build up the Jewish population, to protect these people in the country, because they are the part of the society, they are part of the nation, part of the country, part of the economy. So, and of course, it's out of question to let any anti-Semitism in this country. So the sense of the government is very, very strong in this, in this, and even the population. So it's very clear, that, and what you mentioned, the last wave of big immigration, the last 10 years, imported not only social challenges but also political challenges, political conflicts that we can see in Africa or in the Middle East between nations, between clans, between religions. So this is why Hungary is very skeptical whether just importing millions of people from different cultures, importing them with their old grievances, tensions, etc., will solve the demographic problem.
Yeah, I mean, one of the basic requirements should be you leave your historical grievances at the border.
No.
We insist. The irony of this, Victor, I mean, if you read the New York Times or some of the commentators in there, they will try and portray Viktor Orban and the Hungarian government as somehow out there on the far right or on the fascist fringe, akin to the Nazis.
Yeah.
But the difference is the Jewish people find a haven here.
It's true.
The opposite. I mean,
yeah,
surely that's an end to their argument, isn't it?
Yeah, it's true. And it's also very interesting to see, that it's very problematic in all around Europe that if there are certain topics which can be raised by the mainstream parties, like the criticism of the mass immigration, it's very evident that if the mainstream parties don't raise the question, then really the far right party started to do it, like in Sweden or the AEST in Germany. So this is why I think the government and the Fidesz party decided, no, we have to speak about this topic as a mainstream parties. But funnily the contrary happened, that when a mainstream party started to speak about this topic, then suddenly everybody starting to say, no, they are not anymore mainstream parties, but they are far right, and it's problematic because it will not solve the question whether you call, I don't know, Viktor Orban or the Fidesz as a fascist or far right party. Parallel societies will be in Europe, imported conflicts will be Europe. So instead of labeling, people who are raising certain question for extremists, it will be high time in Europe to face with the challenge and the problem and try to find solution for them.
Do you see signs that other countries in Europe in particular are belatedly looking at Hungary and saying, well, there's something we've learned from?
Yeah, definitely. At the peak of the migration crisis in Europe, 2015-16, only some country like Poland or Slovakia stands with Hungary. And now we can see a coalition, an increasing number of countries which are realizing, no, it's not possible, to close our eyes anymore. You have to do something. Unfortunately, there are very strong nations and parties which are still thinking that no, it's possible, it's manageable. We don't have to protect the border, but just manage the flow. So like Germany, for example,
There was actually a rise in migration last year, wasn't it?
Yeah. It's true. Yeah. So I see the development. I see that there are achievements. I see that some countries starting to use Hungary as a model, but it's I regularly telling people it's not a sprint, it's a marathon in long term. So I think we can see the real achievement in the next decade, 1 or 2. So it will be a long journey.